Welcome, man. This is the Kyren Monteiro Show, season number 5, episode number 7, featuring the one and only Darius D. And we're going to call this episode Press On, man. Let's get into the album, man. My brand new album, Visionary, is available right now, man. I think Darius can relate to this song, man.
Visionary in the flesh, I'm really like that.
Yeah.
Build it from the ground up, I'm really like that. Fight squad, be the movement, boy.
We like that.
Bringing light to the culture, really like that. 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 Fight squad, be the movement, really like that. Bringing light to the culture, really like that.
All right, man, cut it off like they said on Def Comedy Jam back in the day. Man, what's going on, man? It's Kyren Monteiro, man. Welcome to the Kyren Monteiro Show, season number 5, episode number 7. We calling this Press On. And here today, man, first off, check out the podcast on all platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, all of that. Like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Share the podcast if you rock with the content. We're calling season 5 Visionary Talk, inspired off of my new album, Visionary. And everybody can't be a visionary. And so when I this man, well, I don't know how he look on camera to y'all, but to my left, I got that right. He to my left, man. I met this young man in 2022. My guy Ken Surrey invited me to speak as a panelist. And when you rock with people, you just say yes.
Yeah, man.
You look at your calendar and you say yes.
Yep, for sure.
Like Jesus, right? You
That's
just say yes, right?
Let's do it.
So my guy, salute to Ken Surrey, man. He reached out. I went and spoke. And there were a couple of guys who were gospel performing. My guy, Cliff Latham, salute to Cliff, was a standout artist. But then there was this one dude that really stood out that night. and it was this guy right here. And I remember telling my wife, I said, man, I'm kind of nervous to call him because you told me that you had an album coming and there was some delays. And I was prepared. I asked what your budget was. But even if you said no, I was going to do it for free. Because
you should have told me that then.
Nah, I couldn't tell you that at first. I couldn't tell you that. And he told me what his budget was. He was patient with me. With us getting the album done. The album came out in 2023, I'll Press On. Classic gospel album, one of the best gospel albums I've heard from an independent gospel artist in a long time. Wow. I said it, argue with your mama, don't argue with me. God bless you, though. So, man, to my left, man, we have a decorated gospel recording artist. He's won 7 different awards. Rhythm of Gospel, Male Vocalist of the Year. Contemporary Male Vocalist of the Year. Voices of Gospel Music, Male Vocalist of the Year. Song of the Year. Gospel Music Sound Awards, nominated for Praise and Worship Artist of the Year. Gospel Choice Music Awards, nominated in 4 different categories. Praise Factor Awards, nominated and 2 different categories. He didn't win so much awards, I got to read it off my cell phone. I'm talking about the one and only. He's a son. He's a husband. He's a father.
Yes, sir.
A godfather, a preacher.
Yes, sir.
A minister of the word of God.
Yes, sir.
A educated man that I know he has his bachelor's and his master's.
Yes, sir.
He is just a former athlete.
Yeah, former.
Well, he don't do it now. He playing a different sport now. Yeah. But this is my guy, man. Family friend, with the one and only, none other, Darius D. Darling.
What's up, bro? What's up, man? Kyren, thanks for having me, man. This is fun. I'm excited. I'm nervous, excited, and all the things, nervous, man. I am, man. Don't tell me I ain't what I am.
First off, man, shameless plug. We promote people on this show. We got the Stay Royal shirts for the people that can see the camera.
Absolutely, there it is.
So here go my camera right here. Here go this one. You can't see me on his, but man, throw it. Hold up. Throw it on your camera real quick. Let them see.
There you go.
Stay Royal.
Stay Royal.
Follow him, Darius D. Darling, on Instagram. And he has a link tree there. Yeah. And at the time of this recording, if this is later on and it changes, reach out to me and I'll make. Either way, If y'all can't get a hold of him, reach out to me, and I'll make sure that we point y'all in the right direction, man.
Absolutely.
Darius, you currently live in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yes, sir.
But that ain't where you grew up, though.
No, man.
You grew up in the city of Detroit.
Yes, sir.
Michigan, Motor City, Motown.
Yes, sir. Motown, yes, sir.
Legendary, some of the greatest R&B and gospel artists ever, and musicians have come out of Detroit. Also, some of the most crowned.
Watch it. But no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
At one point, you all in Chicago.
Yeah, we was battling. We was battling for a minute.
Indianapolis and Cincinnati was trying to catch up. But anyways, man, growing up, man, let's dive into your story, bro. I wanna tell us about you growing up in Detroit and seeing both sides of the coin, and the church and the other side. Mm-hmm. Talk about that, and then I want you to lead into how that brought you into being a gospel artist.
Yeah, so most people will say they had the hard life story. I can't say that I had the hard life story, but what I can tell you is that I grew up in a single parent house, but my grandmother and my grandfather was there as well. So my dad passed away when I was 4. He was shot by a police officer, off-duty police officer, but my dad was trying to steal a car and didn't know it was an off-duty police officer, got shot, and he always said...
Was that there in Detroit?
Yeah, it was in Detroit, and he had this thing where he said, he spent a lot of time in and out of jail, and he had this thing where he said he wasn't going back to jail, and so, but he was trying to get the car. The off-duty officer shot him.
And your pops is from overseas, correct?
No. He's from Detroit. My biological father is from Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that. My bad.
Yeah. Well, no worries. So the off-duty officer shot him, and because my dad didn't want to go back to jail, he ran. Had he not ran, he probably would still be alive. He just would have had to do jail time, and he just did not want to go back to jail. So he ran, hoping to get home and get fixed up and all the stuff, but
he didn't have a weapon on him.
Yeah, he didn't. No.
So what? That's a whole nother issue.
That's a whole nother issue. We can talk about that.
That happens too often.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we can talk about that at another time. But yeah,
wow.
So that was the case. My dad wasn't around. Had a lot of male mentors come around in and out. But my mom, she was a choir director at the church. So I grew up in the church. She was the choir director. I sang my first solo at 4 or 5 years old, directed the choir. I started singing around 4, led my first song around 5, directed the choir at 10.
Wow.
Started teaching at 12, and then started singing professionally at 16.
Okay.
And then came to college, started my own choir at the school. From there, recorded my first single in 2017, then recorded the album in 21 and put it out in 23. And now we're sitting here on the couch talking about the history, man. So, Detroit was great to me though, man. I growing up in Detroit, I learned everything you can imagine from the music scene and from the streets. I worked in the barbershop, so I saw a lot.
You used to cut?
Oh no, I couldn't cut hair to save my life, but I used to clean up.
Oh, okay.
So I was the kid around the shop that was sweeping up the hair, cleaning the bathrooms,
just getting extra coins.
Yeah, just making some extra coins so I could catch the bus to school and all that. And so I would hear a lot about the streets. I would hear a lot about what people was doing and learning what to do, what not to do. And then in church, I would go and I would hear all this music and everything, and I just start falling in love with music, falling in love with God through music. And so for me, it was, I got to hear artists all the time, like people, the artists that people swoon over, the Clark Sisters, the Winans, Marvin Sapp, Fred Hammond, Dietrich Haddon, all these guys, Kiki Shear, all of them from Detroit. Jay Moss, yep. All of them. They from Detroit. And so for me, it was like, I can go to a concert tonight and hear any one of them sing. So it was like common to me.
And there's a lot of big churches and preachers from Detroit as well.
Absolutely. And so when you're around it, it kind of becomes a part of who you are. And so for me, it was like, okay, if I'm going to do music, I need to do it at this level, at this standard. I may not have the promotion of it, but I have a standard. And so I had to do it to a standard that would make my hometown proud.
Start singing professionally.
Yeah, 15, 16.
Yeah, and when I guess you saying that, I'm gonna guess you meant background vocals from some of those artists.
Well, yeah, I was doing background vocals. I've done background. I started singing in the choir professionally, called Dr. Eloquent Weaver and the Hallelujah Singers, and I was singing so much. My mom told me I couldn't sing in the choir because she was like, "I need you to focus on school. You can sing in the choir after you graduate." But I was sneaking out the house to go to choir rehearsal. I was sneaking out the house to go to sing.
Like Choir Boy or 5 Heartbeats.
For sure. I was sneaking out the house to go sing at concerts and stuff. And after a while, my mom was like, look, if this is what you're going to do, your grades got to be tight. You know, all these things got to be in place in order for this to happen. So it worked out pretty good for me, I think, man.
One thing that I've noticed about your story from getting to know you, and I've known you for some years now, is that as we get into it, people will learn there's a lot of layers to your story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tragedy that produces beauty.
Yeah.
But I've never, even in the roughest moments, you've just been a fighter. You've never let that paralyze you, like you've never paused. Well, I don't want to say pause. You've never stopped, right?
Yeah.
You've always kept going, man. Coming up in Detroit, you know, from the outside looking in, Detroit is known as a rough city. Mm-hmm. We see 8 Mile with Eminem and you know, D12 and just even my favorite sitcom of all time, Martin, right? Man. Martin Lawrence was it really shot in Detroit or was it just portrayed?
No, it was actually
really
shot
there.
in Detroit. It was shot at an apartment building off of what's downtown, the street called Jefferson Avenue.
Okay.
It's right off the water, nice high rise down there.
Ooh.
Yeah, man.
Jerome in the house.
Yeah.
So I love that's one of my favorite sitcoms, man. And just coming up with Detroit, I was always I still have never been to where Motown is at. I hear that's a museum. I would love to go.
It's a museum, and they've done some amazing work around there to beautify it even more. And it is fitting. It used to be just 2 houses connected, and now they are in the process. Probably by the time this comes out, they'll be closer to even being done if they're not complete already. Of redoing it to be fitting of a true museum to Motown.
Okay, so
it's gonna be beautiful.
So you talked about, you know, coming up music in the church, but like you said, you have Motown.
Yeah.
So Motown has, whether they lived in Detroit or not, Motown itself has produced some of the most legendary,
absolutely,
urban artists. I mean, we can say Michael Jackson and stop there.
Yeah.
We can say Marvin Gaye. Wasn't Marvin Gaye a part of Motown?
Marvin Gaye was at Motown.
Stevie Wonder was a part of it.
Was at Motown. Diana Ross was at Motown. Quincy Jones was at Motown. Smokey Robinson was at Motown.
Is that
Temptations was at Motown.
Y'all ever heard of any of them?
The OJs was there. The Delphonics. It was everybody.
Easy Like a Sunday Morning. One my guy, Richard.
Yeah, it was
Lionel Richie.
I don't know. Lionel Richie might have been. He might have been. But man, there was so many artists at Motown during its heyday where they were centered and focused in Detroit that it wouldn't be uncommon for artists to strike up a group and go try to present to Motown.
So what was that? Because growing up here in Marion, Indiana, small city, far away from a music industry being here, people did music, but there's no industry here. There's not a lot, there's not an abundance
machine.
And there's not an abundance of talent the same way major cities have it. With everything, musicians, producers, studios, like the whole gamut. Everything is smaller here.
Yeah.
You grew up in a city where the standard is like really high.
Yeah, and everybody can sing. It really, in the city, there's probably 100 Amis in the city. Like, there's artists who are independent artists who are striving to get it done. There are so many different managers and musicians, and they one of my choir directors growing up, he would say, "Man, I could go find singers. Singers come a dime a dozen. I'm not worried about singers.
On commitment, yeah,
that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's what separates it, man. And you brought up your mother,
yeah,
and You brought up your biological father.
Yeah.
But there's still more to the story. Can you go come into more of, I guess, adult years?
Yeah.
Because you've dealt with a lot of tragedy.
Yeah, man. So I shared a little bit about what happened to my father, but in 2020, everybody knows of COVID, right? I mean, that was a whole thing. But for my family, it started in January of 2020. So some would say my stepfather, I just call him my father. He's my sister's dad, lives in Cape Town, South Africa. And so in January, I get a phone call. Everybody else put this weekend around the weekend that Kobe died. Well, for me, the day before, I got a phone call that told me that my sister, my nephew, and my uncle had died in a car accident in Cape Town, South Africa. My dad and my cousin was also in this accident, and they were in the hospital. And when I tell you, it shook me to my core. In fact, on that same day, I was recording a song with the artist from Fort Wayne called FaceTime. And it was centered around this concept of if I could FaceTime my loved ones that had died. And I get that phone call while I'm shooting that video.
And that give me chills hearing that, man.
And so it was tough. It was tough. So my mom calls me and tells me what happened. I'm like, okay, I asked her, did you call my sister? Did you call Dranisha, who is my sister here in the States? And she was like, no, not yet. I said, okay, call her while I'm on the phone. She calls my sister, and my sister, like, just loses it. And my nephew is there, and they both lose it. And that's what shakes me. I'm good as long as my people are good.
Yeah, but once they,
I can handle a whole lot of things, but when my sister, my nephew, my brother, my grandma, my wife, my daughter, when they start crying or they get messed up by something, that's what impacts me. You can say whatever you want to say to me, but when you say something to them and it impacts them, it really gets me going. So got that phone call in January. We flew over to South Africa to bury them in February. And then we get back. Then we start hearing the rumblings of COVID. Before we left, we heard the rumblings of COVID, and it was going to make its way to the States and all this other stuff. We're like, we're going to get there and get back. Do what we got to do. We get back.
So at that point, was traveling?
Traveling was still, you could still travel.
It was still normal.
Yeah, it was still normal. February was still normal. You didn't start seeing a lot of the travel restrictions until March.
Yeah.
And so
I remember that time.
The middle of March. And so that's my job was talking about sending us home. So I was like, all right, bet. Well, and I got it clear with my bosses. I was like, well, if we're going home, can I go and work from Detroit? Because I want to be with my family. I'm the only one in Fort Wayne for my family. And my boss was like, yeah, you can do that. So I called my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I'm coming to work from Detroit because they talking about shutting down highways and stopping travel and all that. I want to be with my family. She said, no, stay there. You have everything you need in Fort Wayne. You got your apartment set up. You got your, right there close to work. You got your church. You got all this other stuff. Stay there. We'll be fine up here. That was a week before they shut Michigan down. They shut Michigan down on a Wednesday. My mama went to work on Thursday to go and pick up all her stuff so she can work from home. She gets a call from her boss on Friday night and says, hey, somebody in the office contracted COVID. You may want to go get tested. So the next day, my mom goes to the hospital, goes to get tested. And they do the test, but they can't really read the test. It's new, man. They have no idea what's happening. So they say, well, we don't know what's going on. We're going to send you home and then just kind of keep us aware if something happens. So that's Sunday she goes home. Wednesday, I get a phone call from my uncle telling me, hey, they just rushed your mom to the hospital. She wasn't doing too well. So boom, they rushed to the hospital. We get a phone call Wednesday night. That same evening said they had to put her on a ventilator because she wasn't breathing. And so Thursday comes, Friday comes, And then Friday comes, they say, well, y'all may want to figure out what y'all want to do. You're like, huh? No, we're going to keep fighting, right? That's the thing. We're going to keep fighting. And so on that same Friday, prayed with my family. My grandmother goes into the hospital with COVID that day. And so she's in the hospital. She's on a ventilator and in a coma for weeks. I'll come back to that. Grandma goes into the hospital on Friday. Saturday comes. They say things are looking okay for my mom, but still nothing is changed majorly. Sunday, I go and shoot because we're doing virtual services at my church at this point. So I go to my pastor's house, shoot the video, and then I go home. I get a phone call from my godbrother. He's like, "Hey, was what I heard just true?" I'm like, "No, I don't know nothing. What did you hear?" He said, "Well, if you saying you ain't heard nothing, then I don't know anything. I'm just hearing stuff." So I'm like, "Okay, bet." So I call my brother, who is home, who is at this point 19. He's the one at the house with my mom. So he calls. Well, I call him and he says, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm at home." All right, so we just all get in the grandma's house. I said, "Why are we at grandma's house? Like, why? Like, what's going on?" And he says, around 1:00, Mama coded, and I just let out some frustration. It was a dark day. My best friend came over to the house with me. My pastor came to the house. But all this is happening while my grandmother is in the hospital in a coma. So my grandmother has no idea. And so that was Sunday. On Monday, Sunday I called my boss and told her what happened. And I told her I was heading up to Detroit. I'm gonna need my bereavement time. Head up to Detroit. I went up and I stayed for 3 weeks at my mom's house just trying to get stuff done. Almost, maybe even a month, just trying to get stuff done. It was a month because I was there for my brother's birthday. And so I was trying to get some stuff done.
Are you married at this time?
Nope. Not married at this time.
Okay.
Not married at this time. So I'm there in Detroit just figuring things out, trying to do all my mom's arrangements while COVID is going on. Funeral homes are jam-packed with bodies. They're cremating everybody. They couldn't find my mom's phone. They couldn't find my mom's jewelry that she had on when she went to the hospital. So I'm navigating all that, man. And then I get a call that my grandmother is doing better. They're going to take her off the ventilator and they're going to try to get her to come out the coma. And so, all that happened. So I drive back to Fort Wayne because they're like, your grandma going to be here for about another week. Well, grandma turns around wonderfully between, this is mid-April now. She turns around wonderfully between Saturday and Sunday. So, and they said, well, she's going to come home on Monday. So I get back in the car, drive back to Detroit because I got to be the one to tell my grandma that my mama ain't here. I'm the oldest boy in our family, closest to my mom. I'm not closest to my mom, but me and my mom had a very good relationship, and everyone would say that I'm my grandma's favorite. So I got to be the one to tell her. I'm the preacher. I'm the one that's carrying the mantle. So they bring my grandma home in the EMS. I call the hospital and say, hey, I need y'all to hold her in the EMS until I tell her this news, just in case something else happens. So they open the EMS, get in the car, and I tell my grandma, she's looking around. She's like, hey, everybody, it's good to be home. Where is Val? And I'm like, Grandma, she didn't make it out. And not only did your daughter not make it out, your best friend passed away while you were in there too. So I'm battling. I'm holding on to all that. And I am frustrated, but I'm still trying to give all this to my family. And so I'm getting ready to leave Detroit for the last time to come back to Fort Wayne. And I go to get in my car. And in January, I started writing this song for like when my sister passed away. And I sat on my couch, I sang a little bit of it. I've had it on my Facebook page. My mom commented. She's like, oh, you might have something there, boy. You might have something there with that song.
What was the name of that song?
I'll tell you 1 second, because then
I know what it is.
And then I get to getting ready to come back home to Fort Wayne, and I couldn't figure out the verses. I get in the car, in the driveway, and the Holy Spirit says, go back in the house. I got verses for you. I run back in the house, sit down with my pen and paper, and I write the verses to I'll Press On. And that song was born in 2020.
And which birthed an album.
Yeah, the full album. Yeah.
Let's talk about.
I know that was a long story.
No. It's necessary, man. Yeah. This is the great thing about storytelling is that people can relate. When I met you, my father died at 18, and so I've shared that stuff with you. Yeah. And right when I was meeting you, my grandmother had passed away months before.
Yep.
And so when you told me the story of your album, there was just a lot that resonated with me because I feel like something that we both had in common was oldest boys. I'm the oldest grandson you are. Yep. I'm my mom's oldest son of 5, oldest on my biological dad's side too. Yep. Similar to that, my biological dad is actually still living from Ypsilanti.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Right in your area.
Right. Yes, sir.
So there was just so much stuff, but one thing I could relate to was legacy.
Yeah.
And carrying on that legacy. Now, I was 18 when my pops died and I lost my mom. I was very young, was not equipped to know what mental health, like therapy and stuff wasn't equipped for none of that. Where was your mental health and your faith at during that time? Because everything you just went through will wipe somebody's faith clean indefinitely. Yeah. You have people that have walked away from God 100%. Indefinitely. Yeah. Where was you at, man?
For me, it was I was having it rough, to be honest. I was having it rough, and but I still had a conversation with God about it. I had a brother who called me the day I was driving back to Detroit. He called me and I pulled over. He prayed with me. He said, talk to God about it. Before you do anything, before you make any decision, talk to God about it. And that was Josh Copeland out of Salisbury, Maryland. He called me and prayed with me that day and said, talk to God about it. So I got to Detroit. I'm like, God, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand this. I'm confused. And he told me clearly, he said, son, I need you and your family to be an example of what it means to go through hard times with me on your side. I'm like, did you have to do it this way? But in all honesty, man, I heard him clearly say, I need you and your family to be an example of what it means to go through hard times with me on your side. So that's the one thing that kept me sane through it all. Yeah, I got a therapist. We still talk to this day, but it was truly having that conversation with God to identify, God, why this, why now, why us? And God is not afraid of us. He wants to be in relationship with us. He wants to talk with us. And so when you ask him a question, he wants to give you an answer. He wants you to ask him questions. People always say when we was growing up, oh, you don't question God. No, you need to have a conversation. It's a relationship. Yeah. And where there's no communication, there can be no conversation. Where there's no conversation, there can be no relationship.
That's bars.
And so I just feel like that's what I heard him say. And so that gave me a certain level of peace in navigating all of it. So when we handled my mom's memorial service, me and my siblings, we weren't cussing each other out. We wasn't fussing. We wasn't arguing. We wasn't fighting. Who wants to do what? Who has a heart to do this part? Who has something that they want to absolutely be done? All right, bet. I got you. We'll make that happen. We'll make that happen. We'll make that happen. Let's pull it together. Because what we're going to do is we're going to honor my mom and we're going to show everybody else what it means to honor God, honor your parents, even in hard times.
The round of applause is not the hard times, but the round of applause is for the perseverance. You deal with all of that, the weight of all of that, which is you can't imagine or fathom what that pain is. Even if you've went through similar stuff, everybody responds different. Yeah. There's been several people to reach out to me through the years. I lost my pops. I don't know what to do. I'm like, me either. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it feels like. I know how I handled it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't healthy. Mm-hmm. I was also 18. I was young. Yeah. So I think in my 30s, I would handle it
different than that. Yeah.
Opposite of what I did, right? Yeah. But it's still hard. But you press on, right? Sir. That comes to the album, your debut album, I press on. It took so much pain for you to be able to birth that album.
Yeah.
And see it come to completion. I think you just told us the concept of the album.
Well, yeah. I mean,
but talk about it though.
Yeah. So I'll press on the album again. It sparked with that song, but it was over the years I had been writing stuff, or my aunt had been writing some things. She wrote a couple of songs on the album too. Phenomenal writer, and she had been writing some things. And for me, it was I want to give people a album that would give them something. One, I wanted something that was singable, right? I want something that was relatable to people. But I also wanted to tell a story. And so when you look at the album, when you listen to the songs on the album, it really takes you through a story of someone who has it going well for them, has some difficulty that they encounter, where do they go to seek help, and how do they celebrate that help when it comes to fruition. It does that. Every song is the story of celebration, hardship, recovery, and then inspiration.
What I think that people don't realize, that kind of reminds me of my album from 2019, like Broken, right? Mm-hmm. It talks about some of that. Even my new album Visionary talks about the hardships. Like you can be up and down.
Oh man, absolutely.
And one thing that is, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but in black gospel music, us coming from the black church, I love black gospel music, but everything can be so name it and claim it and so upbeat that when you go through those hard times, I don't have realistic stuff to push me through outside of just speak over myself. Sometimes I might not feel like speaking. Sometimes I might feel like just lashing out, and I feel like records like I'll Press On, Emotional. I'm naming songs off his album. I feel like those kind of records are real, and I feel like that level of authenticity. There are some people that I feel like Kirk Franklin, Ty Tribbett, Fred Hammond has been real with stuff like that. But the walk of faith is just not a pretty thing. Right?
It is probably one of the goriest experiences in the human experience. It really is. And if we're to be honest with ourselves, if we are only looking at our walk with God from a lens of the tiptoeing through the tulips and everything is happy, everything is coming up roses, you end up in a space you have a false narrative of who God is. You only have one perspective of who God is. Because God is great in the good times, but God is also great in the hard times.
Come on, man.
God is fantastic in the good times, but God is phenomenal in the hard times.
That's where you get built up at.
That's where you get built. You don't have this abundance of faith in the everything's going great season. Faith is truly built through trial.
Man,
people oftentimes say, I can't take credit for this one. There's no testimony without a test. You got to go through something in order to truly see.
What did the old saints say? That if your faith ain't tried,
it ain't faith at all.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It. When I think about the old gospel songs, as you talk, I think about some of my grandmother. I think about her and one of my favorite gospel artists of all time. I think about Daryl Coley, and I think about Standing on the Promises.
Yes, sir.
I think about records like that. I think about It's Another Day's Journey, and I'm glad about it.
I'm glad about it. Yes,
right.
Sir.
I think about I'm on the Battlefield. I think about these old songs that were really like fight anthems.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. Because you have to understand, anybody that gets into gospel music, they should probably make sure that they do the history of what gospel music and where gospel music comes from.
In slavery,
slavery was a primary force of gospel music. That's where you got spirituals
y'all
from.
Listen, man. Listen to what he's saying.
That's where you get spirituals from, which turned into a lot of the songs that were being sung in the churches at that time, which turns into your hymns, which turned from your hymns into your Sunday morning songs.
Why were they so strong, D?
Because they had some history behind it.
But
they had some. They
didn't have nothing else to lean on.
They had nothing else to lean on.
They strip you from your culture.
Man, tell them.
They try to take your identity away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They take you from your language. They take you from everything that you knew. And then they expect you just to come along with it. So what the spirituals were songs of celebration, a songs of trial, song of community that brought people together and around a common situation or struggle.
And let's tie this into pressing on, even in that type of situation.
Yeah.
Some of the worst type of slavery in history.
Yeah.
Because there's some slavery where it was just business. Mm-hmm. You were more of a own kind of employee.
Yeah.
But it was terrible.
Yeah,
right?
it was still terrible. All of it. Slavery in itself is just horrible.
It is.
Period. But I mean, there were moments of when people would indentured servitude was a thing where, hey, I'm gonna serve and I'm gonna do this. But when it came down to slavery, it was a gruesome time in American history. I'm just talking about American slavery.
Yep.
Gruesome experiences. Yeah, were there some people who treated their slaves nice? Yeah, but they were still slaves.
And even through all of that, at the time it was still the most Christ in the culture.
Absolutely,
African Americans were family centered.
They had to have faith somewhere.
But they still
optimism and hope was found in the Word of God.
They were still getting married.
They were still making families.
So even in the midst of those terrible times, some of the worst time for our peoples, the worst time for our people, they still sought out God. Mm-hmm. They still were family oriented.
Yeah.
They still pushed through, which the media has tried to spin another narrative. Mm-hmm. But when you know your roots and you do your history, you know that some of that stuff is some cap. It's a whole lot of cap and lies in that, man. As I think about tying things to the viewers, to the listeners, what this is for, I want to ask you two questions.
Yeah, man.
One, I've asked all the other guests on the season 5. If you could redefine what visionary means, what would visionary mean to you? And number 2, what does somebody have to possess in order to be that? Because that's what you are. Not only is he a recording artist, but he owns a record label, Stay Royal Productions.
Yes, sir.
And there's different ventures under that. So you're not just an artist, you're an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. You have established the business behind the ministry. Mm-hmm. So what is a visionary to you? What does it take for somebody to become that?
Yeah. A visionary to me is someone who has an encounter with God and really desires to be all that God has created them to be.
Oh, okay.
Being a visionary is not about accomplishing your own things. It's about having a sight as to who God has created you to be and taking that and working towards that. That comes with multiple initiatives, multiple endeavors that you take on, and I believe it looks as to what everybody else would know as a visionary, but it really is about accomplishing what God has showed you. A visionary only has vision from what they see. How do you have a vision without having seen something first? And where is the source of that sight?
I think that's part of my album that people miss. because I'm on there. I'm talking about starting up businesses. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about taking risks. I'm talking about the perseverance through the hard times. That's just the attributes.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about is the calling.
Yeah.
And the identity behind that.
Absolutely. Being a visionary has nothing to do with what you do. It's all about who you're connected to and what you see. Because I can put on sunglasses and my vision changes. I can put on a different pair of glasses, and if they're not corrected to my prescription, I can't see nothing. So it's not about what I have in my possession. It's about the connection that I have to the one who gives sight. And so if God is saying that, hey, this is where I want you to go, this is what I want you to do, a visionary is one who sees what God says and then walks or puts the boots to the ground to accomplish it.
What does it take to flesh that out, right?
It takes faith. It takes obedience. It takes sacrifice. It takes perseverance, all of those things, because it is very difficult to accomplish what God says.
Without saying too much, as an entrepreneur in the music business, I know what you spent to produce that album. Mm-hmm. You had to pay for me. You had to pay Frequency Canvas.
Yeah.
And that might be one of the smallest bills.
That is true.
After you put in
everything else.
Put in everything else. I don't know contractually what you can talk about, what you had in your agreements. Can you talk about, without stretching it out too long, talk about the financial commitments that you had in putting together your album?
Yeah.
Because a lot of independent, this podcast is not about music, but we're both musicians, so we're going to talk about music.
Yeah, got to.
A lot of artists don't understand that you have to invest into what you want to do.
You absolutely.
And it may go nowhere.
You are 100% right.
And that's business of any sort. So for your business and your ventures, man, as much as you can talk about, what did that look like for you?
It's definitely an investment, right? It was for me, I have a standard. And my mom always taught me that if you're going to do anything, you better do it well. Like there's no half-stepping. If you're going to do something, you're going to put your name on it, because all you got is your name.
And you said she told you that even if you just do it one time, you got to do it right that one time.
Even if you're only doing it one time, you better do it right that one time.
Yeah.
Because you never know what you intended to do one time could be something that you end up doing over and over again.
Yeah.
But if you did it that one time and did it horrible, that can't open no door for you.
What did that sacrificing look like for you?
It was long days, long nights, picking up extra jobs, not experiencing some of the things that I wanted to go to, some of the things that I wanted to do. There was a lot of time, effort, energy that went into it. Relationships suffered because of it. I was friends with some people who I may no longer be friends with as frequent because of it. It was a lot of time that went into it that I could never get back.
Was it worth it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every minute of it. Because I believe that what I did was what God wanted me to do. And I've seen so many people come to me after I have ministry engagements and say, your music has really blessed me. I was in a low place and I listened to I'll Press On, and man, that encouraged me. I listened to his word Says I Can, and now I got energy to go forward.
He's dropping names off his album, by the way. He's dropping names of songs off his album.
You know, I listened to Doors and I felt reinvigorated. Like,
it's tough, bro.
Yeah, life is tough.
But being the one that and unless you walk that road, people don't know? Like as we're recording,
people don't know, man. People don't know that I had a major bill with my musicians that I had to pay. I had bills with my singers. My singers are wonderful. My musicians were wonderful. Nothing against them. These were expenses that I had to pay as the visionary to get God's vision done.
Yeah.
I had my musicians I had to pay for, facility I had to pay for, lights, sound, cameras, singers, post-production, marketing material, travel, because my singers weren't just from Fort Wayne. They were from Detroit, Indy, a little bit of everywhere. It was a lot.
Mix and master.
Mix and mastering, post-production work.
Manufacturing of materials.
Yeah.
Merchandise.
Pre-production, merch, time doing graphics, doing all the things.
And by the way, it was a live recorded album.
Yeah. So you had to do overdubs and all that stuff.
So you have to, with live gospel music, I don't think people understand, there's pre-production. Mm-hmm. So you're not only rehearsing, you're going into the studio before you record the live show. Mm-hmm. You're doing the live show. Mm-hmm. You're taking that back and then cleaning up stuff. A lot of people don't want to admit that. But I think in gospel music is known more now, but I would say early 2000s, people didn't want to promote that because if you say live, you think
it's all live. Yeah.
You don't think the studio. So you got to go back, then you got to mix and master, then you have to start performing that live again.
Yeah.
So it started live, goes through all of this, post and all of that, and then goes back to being live again.
Because by the time the album comes out, there have been so many changes, or whether that be musical changes or even vocal changes.
And everybody's not happy.
Everybody's not happy. And so then you have to, once the album is finished, you have to go, especially if you have singers, you have to go back to your singers and reteach the album, because what they sung originally may have changed in the process. Or you may have heard something and you may have to tweak something or adjust something or do something different. So, it's a lot of work.
And one of the cameras shut off. You still see a red light on that?
Yep, that one's still good.
That's good right there.
That one's still good over here.
Okay, cool. My camera shut off. Forget
It don't like you.
All right, man. Forget you, man.
Now you got to take the wide shot.
Nah, man. It's cool, man. It's cool. We ain't cutting this out. It's raw. As we approach, man, coming to a close for this, I feel like we're gonna have to do a part 2.
Let's do it. Charge the camera and let's roll.
One thing that I love about your story, any story that draws me in is hearing about great people persevere through some of the hardest times.
Thank you.
Because I've had a lot of hard times in my life. A lot self-inflicted, some out of my control, but some definitely self-inflicted. But no matter what the cause, learning how to navigate those hard times and have that letting it build your character up, because you have to let it. It's not just an automatic thing. Right. It's a conscious decision to. You could have let that all them situations could have destroyed you if you would have let it. Yeah. You fighting. I mean, yeah. That's who God created you to be, but you still had to make that decision to say, I'll press on. Yeah. I'll press on is a statement of choice.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's a conscious decision of saying,
I'm going, regardless of what happens.
Though he slay me,
yet will I trust him.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to keep going, regardless of the situation, regardless of the circumstances. I'm going to still trust God, and I'm going to push forward. I'm going to press on.
For those on the fence, whether it's a business, a ministry, new job, whatever that may be, out of fear of what they've been through, how they've messed up, grief, whatever that hard situation may be, what would you advise those type of people, man? What advice could you give? Not those type of people. Let me back that up, because that's all of us. But what would you advise to somebody that's on the fence?
Yeah. Press on. I mean, it sounds very cliche to the name of the episode and the album and everything, but you would not be where you are today if you did not have the ability to keep going. Where you are today, you've gotten here because you kept going from yesterday. So that same push, that same drive that you had yesterday, it may look different today, but it's on the inside of you. So you have to use what you have today in order to get to where you want to get tomorrow. My mom told me something when I was growing up. She said, son, remember, you have to do what you have to do today in order to do what you want to do tomorrow.
100%.
And so what I do today, every day, I look at today and say, okay, how is this going to help me tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep pressing. I'm going to keep doing what I have to do because I know that tomorrow there's more in store. There's a greater tomorrow. My wife, my daughter, they both deserve a greater tomorrow than what we had today. So what do I have to do in order to make sure that they see that? You know, and so I encourage everybody who may be sitting in that same space, in the same situation, trying to figure it out, trying to be you're on the fence of, do I keep going or do I quit and just start something else or do something? Keep going. You've done too much now. God has put too much in you. He's invested too much in you. You've invested too much in God's vision for him to see his vision fail in you.
Too much time in.
His word will never fail.
Yeah.
So if he told you to do it, why would you stop?
Yeah.
Keep pressing.
And what Darius is saying, man, it applies to, I mean, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
It's not just
music, not just business, but it's in everyday life. It's school, work, church, you name it. If you're doing it, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because in doing that thing, you're going to see the fullness of what God has originally ordained for that to come to pass.
There's a song on my album called Brighter Days, and in the verse it says, nobody can see the end if you quit the vision.
Yeah.
Right? So my guy Roger Willis, he always says that the definition of quitting, of starting over, is because you quit it, right? I think that's how he probably killed me when he heard this. I think I battered what he said. But basically it's like, you know,
the only reason you have to start over is because you quit.
Yeah, yeah. You don't if you don't stop, you don't have to quit, man. I really appreciate you coming down, man. And telling your story, man. It's so big to go through everything that you went through just to be able to encourage people, and still be of cheer about it.
Yes, sir.
I have seen people lose parents and
crash out.
But I'm talking about for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It took me a while. I don't know if I've ever grieved properly, but I'm better than what I was. I'll be 36 this May, getting old, man. But in my 20s, it ate me up. Yeah. There was an anger at God. Like there was nobody else. I didn't feel like I could blame nobody else, right? And I was confused at. You get it, man.
Yeah.
You go through all of those, man.
All those emotions.
Why these kind of people walking the earth still, and
Yep.
you gotta take my pots away. Like you go through all of those things. But I think, like how you say, at the end of the day, man, it's you gotta press on, man.
Yeah.
Where can people find you at, man?
Man, I'm on all the things. Instagram, Facebook. Yes, I still have Facebook.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Facebook is great.
LinkedIn, all the things. Wherever you're watching this podcast, you can find me on social medias. Just type in Darius D, darling, and I'm sure it'll come up.
If they want to book you to speak, preach, perform, where can they?
Shoot over email to stayroyalproductions@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be gladly. I'll gladly have me or my team respond to get everything set up. I would love to come and share. I would love to come and share with you and make sure that all things work out, and we can get there and minister and have a great time. But yeah, it'll be a great opportunity. So stayroyalproductions@gmail.com. You can hit me up there. If it's an Instagram message or a Facebook message, please let me know, and I'll gladly connect with you.
Yeah, man. Check out the podcast on all platforms, man. Y'all please go check out Darius's album, I'll Press On.
Yes, sir.
Reach out to him, get his merch. If you would love to have him come and, like I said, speak, preach, or perform. He is somebody that you want. He's dynamic. And he's chill now, but live, the boy's a different monster.
Oh man,
he's a very dynamic preacher and artist, man. And so
thank you. Let me say this before we get off. Thank you for everything that you've done to help me get to this place and this platform. Thank Frequency Canvas and Fight Squad and everybody for helping me get to this spot. And I really do appreciate you having me on today. It's truly an honor to come down and share, man. Thanks for thinking a little on me.
I appreciate you coming, man.
Absolutely.
There's not too many people, man, that you meet in life that when they say they'll have it, you'll have it. I'll do this. Basically, integrity.
Yeah.
I know you said his word says I can, but your word says you will.
Yes, sir.
You know
if I say it, I'm doing it, man. We're gonna make it happen.
If Darius is the type of person where if he can do it,
I'm gonna do it.
And if you can't,
I can't. I'm gonna tell you that though.
And if you don't want to,
I'm gonna let you know that too.
Y'all see that? Let the church say amen. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
And so I think that type of character, especially in men, you know, in hood terms, I'm not gonna say the whole thing, but it used to say in life, all you got is your word and your.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that, look at that, watch coming undone, and that attitude in people, like even in business, I tell people like I could send you a DocuSign and you could sign a contract, right? Mm-hmm. But that's nothing but words on paper.
Words on paper.
If you don't honor that, now we got our litigation and all this other stuff.
Yep.
So rather it's on paper, rather it's just in the air. If you don't honor your word, you know what I'm saying. So that's my way of telling y'all that this dude is solid. And yeah, man. And I'm sorry, man. I don't think people realize in doing this, man, when you do pods, as you take this stuff in, you're not a therapist, but as people tell their story and you're hearing their story in the moment, there's no way that you hear a story like what you just told and you just walk away just ready to do backflips. You know what I'm saying? So as you're processing, hearing that, even though I've heard it before, it still is like you said, God, I'm going to use y'all to show you people were going through hardships with me on your side. Like that sucks.
Yeah.
Like
it's painful.
Yeah, bro. Like people want to like that's Jonah in the well. That's Daniel in the lion's den. That's Shadrach, Meshach, and the Billy Goat in the fiery furnace. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, man. I'm just playing, y'all. I had to throw some humor in there, but
it's rough. It's rough being one of God's vessels. It's difficult. It's hard. God didn't choose us because He knew it would be easy. He chose it because He knew it was going to be hard, but He knew that we would trust Him.
Let me say this real quick too, man, before we get off on here. Darius loves God.
Love Him.
Loves his wife.
Absolutely, 100%.
Got a beautiful kid now.
Yes.
But one thing I have noticed too, you ain't nothing to play with either.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Most solid dudes that come up, you know, seeing both sides of the coin is people that you don't want to mess with. So one thing that I've noticed about, but I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about just period. Accountability.
Yeah, I'm one that is true to my word. I hold people accountable. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. And if not, don't tell me you're gonna do it.
I've told Darius some of my personal struggles. You know, sometimes the bros we talk being married.
Yeah, for sure.
Darius has definitely told me I've been on some BS.
I mean, if you don't have real relationships with people where you can tell them you wrong, then why are we connected?
If it's a real relationship.
If it's a real relationship, why are we connected? If I can't tell you wrong and you hear my heart in that, why are we connected?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But you're right. You're right now.
Yeah. and I also feel like, I feel like a lot of time, man, accountability is something that's ran away from.
Oh, absolutely.
Because people don't want to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Growing up in black church, it wasn't perfect. Right. There was things that wasn't perfect, but one thing about it that I would say that I appreciated was a level of accountability.
Absolutely.
There was a village of people that held you accountable.
Absolutely. 100%.
I'm talking about back in the day where you did something by the time you got home.
You done had 2-3 whoopings already.
And everybody know about it. You know what I'm
everybody
saying?
know.
And so it's just a different time now. Well, everybody gonna know now because it's gonna be on Facebook and TikTok. So I guess we're in a totally different time, man. But sorry, I got off track, y'all. But ain't no script today. The other episodes didn't have some script. I ain't write no script for him. I just needed that intro so that I could memorize all the Grammys that this man got. This dude got so many. Y'all ever see the picture of Jay-Z and Beyonce when they come out the Grammy and they holding the award? You know what I'm talking about? And he just cheesing like it's so much hardware. Like we gonna do a photo shoot with D with all the hardware, bro. Because I don't think you can hold it all by yourself.
Maybe not. I bless God, man. I see awards as the opportunity that I did what God told me to do.
100%.
That's how I see awards. It's not about being just nominated and winning and all this other stuff. That stuff is cool. But being nominated for anything is an honor. And I see it as people see God's work being done well.
What I see that. No, you know me as your bro.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep it true.
Uh-huh.
I also see it as a way to separate myself from the hating peers.
Well,
that's
part 2 of the pod.
Because I'll say this: I didn't know I was nominated in 23 until you called me. And you said, "Hey, bro, I just voted for you. You know, you got nominated." I'm like,
"Yeah,
what you talking about?"
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna say that version. And you like, I'm gonna shoot you the link. And so, reaching out to the academies, salute to the Avidity Awards and everybody connected with that. I thank God for that because that got me connected with my guy Roger Willis, and Roger's somebody who I hugely respect as a fellow master engineer, but just as a man, a man of God, and just a man, just his integrity. But let's be real. Sometimes that hardware, as a visionary, like you said, it's proof of what God told you to do, but it's also proof of the separation.
Yeah.
Of the lanes, you know what I mean? And because it can, there's a lot of people online that claim a lot of things.
There are.
And he's not going to say this, so I will say this. Since he thanked me, I appreciate it, but there was definitely a competitive edge in finishing up our press on. And I think that if you had a major label push, it would have been one of the most talked about albums at that time. But this is an industry. You can buy number ones and sell them.
True.
It's facts. I mean, come on, man. And I don't care what genre you're in. If you are talking about Billboard awards, if you're talking about music industry, it can be bought.
True. Yep. Okay.
Awards can be bought.
Yep. You're not wrong.
Political campaigns
can be bought.
Business is business. That's why Judas betrayed Jesus.
That part.
That's a whole nother part too.
That's part 2.
It's the if you want to be a visionary, you got to realize that there's sharks in the water. Yeah. And when blood drops, they are coming, man. So salute to you, man. Round of applause, man.
Thank you.
Salute, man.
Thank you, brother,
for coming down, man.
Thanks for having me.
Make sure that y'all check out Darius once again, man.
Make sure y'all check out Visionary.
Thank y'all, man. I appreciate that, man. But make sure that y'all, seriously, if you are out there and you are looking for somebody to come to a church and preach or speak, perform as an artist, if you are looking for somebody as more of a motivational speaker, to be able to speak life into young people, somebody that can relate and really speak life and educate, this is who you want to. Not only that, at a collegiate level, he got his credentials. Yeah. Look him up on LinkedIn. That MBA is attached to that name. And so I've learned that having a wife who is a doctor, she will, I will introduce her. Hey, this is my wife, Jada Monteiro. She'd be like, it is Dr. Jada, my bad player. I ain't mean to mess up. I ain't mean to insult your game.
You work hard for them things, man.
Hey, man, you do, man. So Darius in all areas and on all levels, man. Make sure that you reach out to him. He is one of the most solid dudes that I've met coming out of gospel music. Solid as they come, and straight. And we're going to keep it at that. God bless y'all.
Grace and peace.
We out of here.